Hey everybody, it's Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane again. Um, I know that you are working on making what's called all about books. Those are the books that help teach somebody about a topic that you already know a lot about. Okay, and I thought, if I had to make something, I'd like to see what it looks like before I have to make it. It might make making it easier, right? So the same thing is true, right, for books. So if you're supposed to write a book, you should know what that kind of book looks like. So what we're going to do today is we're going to study a couple of examples of all about books and think, well, what do I notice about the way they're put together? Because that can help you figure out how to write yours, right? Make sense? Let's try it. So here's one. This one's called Grrr, a book about big cats. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we see about this book. So right here, this book is broken into chapters. Chapter 1, The World of Big Cats. So that means if I were reading this book, I would know that this chapter is all about big cats, right? Let's find chapter 2. Chapter 2, Lions the Loudest. So as a reader, I can expect to learn about lions in this chapter, right? So these chapters really help me as a reader to know what to expect. Chapter 3, Tiger is the largest, right? So I know if I want to read about tigers, I can go to chapter 3. So let's put that on our list, right? So we can have chapters and titles. Okay, so that can help me as a reader, but it can help me as a writer too, because I know a lot about this topic that I'm writing about. And so it helps me know where to put it, where to put all the information, right? So let's keep going. Let's look more at this book. So I'm looking at the chapter on lions. And just by looking, I'm not even reading it, but like looking closely at the page, scanning it, I see that there are a couple of words, like here, lioness, and here, mane, that are written kind of big and thick. That's something called bold writing, bold. And those are like vocabulary words, because when you're writing an all about book, you want to be teaching, right? You want to be teaching words about your topic. So, so here we go. Let me see. So let's call that bold vocabulary words, right? Words about your topic can be written that way, okay? Because then your reader knows, hey, this is a word that I want you to learn, so pay attention to it, and then you can read, like it says a female lion is called a lioness, right? That's a way that we're teaching the definition just right there in the writing. Okay, let's keep going. Let's look a little bit more at this book. In this book, there are lots of photographs, right? These are real pictures. They're not drawings. These are real pictures. And they're kind of big. Like big pictures help you to study the details. Look at the details in that leopard's face, right? So big pictures, big photograph pictures can help you. So let's take a look at another book now. This one is called Insect Bodies. And I think insects are gross. So I'm going to try and not get grossed out while I read this, because I'm not looking at it to like read it like a reader right now. I'm looking at it like a writer. I'm studying what this book looks like. So I see this one has chapters too, but they're not numbered, right? So many insects. And it's got bold print, bold vocabulary, just like the other book did. This book has something a little different. These are not photographs. These are drawings, right? But they're realistic drawings, right? Because like I want someone to study what my butterflies or my wasps or my dragonflies look like, but they're not photographs with a camera, right? Does that make sense? So like I can have realistic pictures that are either taken with a camera or drawn, right? But they're going to be realistic. And I'm noticing here also these pictures have words next to them. Like this one says butterflies. This one says wasp. This one says dragonfly, right? Do you see that? That's called a label, right? Praying mantis. Okay. So we can have a label. Labels are just names of pictures. Okay, let's keep going. This is fun. Okay. Oh, take a look at this. Did you know? And there's a big tarantula there, which kind of grosses me out, but I'm not worried about that. There's a did you know section. Like that's a place to dump some extra facts, and I see that in a couple places in this book. Did you know? And insects' eyes do not move around the way your eyes move around. Okay, so let's put that here. You can have a did you know section. It's a place to just put fun facts. Did you know? Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. What else do we see here? Well, we can see. Okay, take a look at this. There's a section here. There's a chapter called Growing Wings. Okay. And in that, there's a section here called Getting Their Wings. So there's a part within the part, right? That's something called a subheading, right? So it's like a little chapter inside a big chapter. Subheading. And what a subheading does is like it shows you that this whole section is about something, and then there's a little part of it. Like this one says mouth parts, right? This whole chapter is about the mouth of an insect. Then there's a part here about taking a drink. And there's a part here that said, "Did you know?" It's all different stuff about the mouth, and it's got little parts inside it. Okay, so all right, let's look at one more thing here. I'm noticing that in the back, yeah, look, there's a glossary. That's like a little dictionary that tells you the definitions of some insect words right there in the back. And there's an index that tells you you can find information about these things on these pages, right? So like we can do that in our All About book too. Glossary and index. Glossary is like a little dictionary, and an index is like a map to the book. Okay, let's look at one more part, one more book. Here's a book called Rainforest Food Chains. Okay, let's take a look and see what we see here. Okay, this book has a lot of the same things that we saw in the other books. Like it's got bold vocabulary, it's got subheadings, right? This one has pictures too, but it's sort of like a chain picture. These are pictures that kind of go together, and you follow the arrows, and it helps to teach. Okay. So let's call that. What do we call that? A flow chart, I think is what that's called, right? Flow chart. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff in here, and you're not going to find all of this in every book, but that's something that just makes this fun. Like they're all different types. Like this one has a couple of different subheadings. Bats and birds are part of the chapter called Rainforest Flyers. Butterflies is all part of Rainforest Flyers, right? And you know what else I'm noticing? One more thing. All these pages are kind of designed in different places, right? So like the pictures are sometimes on top and sometimes are on the bottom, and sometimes they're just set up in all different ways. Like I got a flow chart on the bottom here. So you know, like when you were little and you were in kindergarten and first grade, the teacher kind of gave you paper and said, try using one of these papers. You can make your own paper here. You can design your own page to look the way that you want, and it can be any way. It can be any way. There's not like one right way. So you can design your own pages. So we're going to call that page design. So you probably can use paper that the teacher gives you, but you can make your own kind of paper too. That's pretty cool, right? There's a lot of things that we just learned by looking at 3 All About books. We learned all these things, and I bet if you looked at some All About books, you could find other stuff in there too that maybe can help you to write an All About book too. Okay, so talk to your partner, your friend, to your teacher about things that you noticed here today or that you might notice in another book that you have. Why don't you do that and then think, how can you use that to write an all about book yourself? Okay, try that out, and I can't wait to see your books. I'll see you next time.